Today, I want to welcome back to my podcast my friend Amy Sadler from Amy Sadler Designs. Welcome, Amy.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. The last time we talked on my podcast, I remember that, we talked about a lot of things, but one thing that I remember we talked about that we had a mutual love for was magazines. Do you remember that?
I forgot about that, but you know what? That's so funny because I went to Goodwill this morning because Gigi was not with me, and I bought a magazine from Goodwill, an old one, which for crafting.
Oh, isn't that funny?
It's yes, because I remember I was thinking, oh my gosh, I don't need another magazine, but I don't have this one.
When my whole family was coming to our house for my son's engagement party recently, I got every room pretty much organized, but the one thing that I didn't have time to do was go through all my magazines. So I have I have piles of magazines. It's like my only messy thing going on right now in my house.
Yeah.
But
I have a lot of messy things going on in my house right now, but
and it's only because, when you have a party and when you have people over, you're forced to clean things up.
Yes.
It's a good reason to entertain, to be honest, because
I agree.
Finish all those projects, you get all those things done. But anyway, the magazine piles, and I won't throw them away till I go through them because that one
would be tragic.
Yeah, that one article that I need or want would be gone, I'm sure. But today we're going to talk about another thing that we both love to use. But before we do that, let's first share how we know each other. We're both bloggers, and we really didn't know each other very well until you organized, excuse me, a really fun weekend getaway for, I don't know, what was there, 6 of us maybe?
Yeah, for a fabulous Friday group of girls, and
to Missouri. And we spent the weekend not only sharing blogging information with each other, but just having a really good time. And not only did I learn a lot that weekend, I also learned about Nell Hills in Kansas City. And it's all your fault.
And it's addictive. Like once you go, you can't wait to get back to the store. Like I love Nell Hills. It's such good inspiration, but it's pretty affordable. Like you can leave with a big bag of things for your home decor and, not break the bank. They have some high-end expensive things, but they also have very reasonable things as well. And I love they have a candle that is my absolute favorite, called Front Porch or Screened Porch. Front Porch, Screened Porch. And it is one of my favorite things to put out in the spring. So.
Well, and I also got a candle, and I believe mine is her signature candle, and I absolutely love it too. And because I got it in Kansas City, I'm using it so sparingly because it's not I guess I can order it online. That's one of the few things you can buy online from them is their candles. Yeah. But yeah, the place is just filled with so much inspiration. And for me, coming from a big, city like Chicago, for me to be impressed by a store and to not know of any other store that's quite like that says a lot, I think.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with you. There were some high-end things, but there was also some very, very affordable home decor. I went home with probably 6 or 7 things, and I don't think I paid over $100. It was less than $100.
I remember that you were inspired by a lamp, and then you did a DIY lamp, and it turned out amazing. So it's inspiration as well.
Yeah, it was. And I look back at those pictures that we all took while we were there, and it's definitely given me some inspiration. Yeah, I went as soon as I got back. I had fallen in love with their lamps, and but I wasn't going to pay $700 or $800 for a lamp.
However, yes, that is expensive, but they are ginormous.
They're
lamps.
huge.
They're huge, and their lampshades are like crazy good quality fabric. So
yeah, they are definitely a statement piece.
Yeah,
they're big. Their lampshades were all linen, which if anybody's bought a lampshade recently, you know, a lampshade alone to replace a lampshade is several $100.
Well, you can get a cheap one for $30, but they don't look good.
Right. Well, and because of the dimensions of those lamps, you have to buy a pretty significant lampshade.
Yeah.
And I know that because after I get done with my lamp dupe, I loved how my lamp turned out. I did not love how my shade turned out as well. But I learned something. I think if I did it again, I know what I did wrong and I would redo it a little bit differently. But here I had this beautiful lamp and I wasn't crazy about my DIY lampshades. So I bought a new lampshade.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. But I don't feel bad because I paid $5 for my lamp at Goodwill.
Yeah.
And a little bit of paint and a little rub and buff. And yeah, I have this beautiful lamp.
Yeah.
So
one other thing about Nell Hills that I love is that each, like, there's sections and they each touch a decor point. Like one is a chinoiserie inspired room with all kinds of blue and white and chinoiserie and bamboo. And then there's wicker, and there's a room for like with the dog pictures and, you know, like a hunting room.
Right.
I just love all of those sections. And then upstairs, it's like bedding and fabric. And I'm very tactile. So I love to touch the fabrics, and the fact that you could just go in and buy the fabric by the yard and touch it and feel it. And that's another thing. It just makes my mouth water thinking about it.
Well, and I don't even know if I've told you this. I brought home probably about 4 or 5 little cuttings of fabric that I had fallen in love with. And I've ordered some yards of fabric from them, and I'm going to make pillows. But they really, the pattern kind of leans itself more towards spring or fall. I'm sorry, spring or summer.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to do it. So hopefully over the winter on downtime, I'll get that pillow made. I've got everything I need to do it. And then I'll have this Nell Hills pillow that I made come spring of next year. So excited.
Yeah, I had gotten a sample of fabric because I'm redoing Gigi's room, my 5-year-old daughter. And one of the pieces they had a ton of fabrics with embroidery. And so one of them was a bumblebee embroidered fabric. And I got a sample of that. And I do think I will get the fabric and make her a long pillow for her bed. But also I'm going to frame the little sample that I got because it's so adorable. It's just this precious embroidered bee. So I'm that for her new room as well.
So ever since that trip, besides thinking about Nell Hills every single day and wanting to come back anytime that you guys are willing to, put together another little weekend, I'm there. You and I have been accountability partners ever since then.
Yes. And I love getting together with you every week and brainstorming and just saying, hey, is this a dumb idea? Or is this a good idea? Or how did you do this? Or, Yeah,
we chat every Monday, and it's like having a meeting with your coworker on what your week's going to look like. At one point,
by the time we talk next week, what are you going to do, Amy? Are you going to do that thing you wanted to do?
Yeah. Are you going to hit? What do I say to you? Hit publish?
Are you going to hit publish?
Yeah. So
because for those listening, I have lots of ideas, but I get hung up on myself about perfectionism or is it good enough? And then that holds me back from actually hitting publish on some projects that I've done or some things that I want to do. So Lynn always encourages me to go ahead and get my stuff out there in the world.
Well, and Amy is really comfortable in front of the camera, and I'm not. So she's been encouraging me, and I have stepped up my game with my YouTube channel. It's not exactly where I want it to be, but I'm in the same boat as you. Like I am, I'm still struggling, but with your encouragement and your help, I feel like I'm making some strides in that area. And then just somebody, like you said, to bounce ideas off of and to say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And all the things that you've taught me. I'm now using Metricool. I'm now using an AI program to help me organize my thoughts for my blog posts. I'm not, what else, what other things have you and I done together? I feel like it's more than just that.
It's a lot. I mean, we talk every week, so.
Right. Yeah. And so we're learning together. We're sharing each other's knowledge of different things. And so just been really a lot of fun. But beyond blogging, because blogging is a long haul game, and it's
marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You've decided to sell essential oils, and we both share a love of essential oils. I have tons of oils in my house. So can you share with us some of the reasons why you enjoy using oils and how you use them in your home?
Sure. And I also when I did decide to sell the oils, it was, or have an affiliate link, essentially, a link to share for the oils. I also create a ton of diffuser blends on my own, and I was doing all of that from my own home. So I thought I could share it on the blog and then also just share a link. So it was a way to have another stream of revenue, but also to share organically what I'm already doing at home, which was really what was the deciding factor.
Right.
So when I use oil, I love it's an oil blend called Thieves from Young Living, and I use it in the diffuser. I use it. I do all kinds of things with the Thieves oil. I even, for the last 6 months, really, I've tried going as toxic free as possible, which also means I don't burn a lot of candles. I love candles as much as everybody, but I don't like the soot that comes with those. So if I do use the candle, I will melt it rather than burn it. I'll put it on like a mug warmer and melt it. And that gives you just the same amount of smell and life, I feel like, that burning it does. But I make all of my own. I make laundry detergent, hand soap, floor cleaner. I make scrubs for the toilet with baking soda and for the sinks and all kinds of things with the Thieves concentrate from Young Living. So that was one of the main things that I was using that I really can't do without. So that was one of the things that caused me to, or that was one of the things that I was using that I decided, I really want to share this with everyone. So.
Yeah, I've heard of Thieves before, especially for cleaning. I feel like I've heard of it a lot, but I'm not completely familiar with it. I'm more familiar with like individual scents, and I too don't like to use harsh chemicals in my home.
Yeah.
And for a very long time, I've been making my own cleaning products out of like my multi-purpose cleaner is basically vinegar. And I think let me think what's in it. I think it's just vinegar, water, equal parts vinegar, water. And then I put 10, 15 drops of lavender in it. I also make my own dishwasher, not detergent, but I make my own dishwasher, the cleaner that keeps everything sparkly. And I make that out of vinegar, and I use thyme, and I use essential oil lemon with that. And recently I made for my skin, because I have very dry skin, and I put a oil on it every single day. And my oil that I buy is $65. And I was just like, that's a lot of money for a little 2.5 ounce, or even, I don't even know if it's that much, bottle of oil. So I thought, well, I'm going to just try making my own. And I looked up different formulas and how different oils are good for like dry skin, for anti-aging, anti-inflammatory. So that's kind of what I used. Yes. And I just did 10 drops of almond oil. I did 5 each of lavender, yarrow, geranium, and frankincense. And then I just used, I'm pretty sure I used grapeseed oil. I either use grapeseed oil or
jojoba oil is really good for the skin, for serums as well, and moisturizers.
Well, I was going to use Moroccan oil, or I think is it Moroccan oil? Or maybe it came from Morocco. Emma brought me back some oil from Morocco. And I was going to use that because I haven't used it for anything. But I then also, in my investigation, I found out that some oils can go rancid.
Yes.
And I smelled it, and it said if it smells like a crayon burning, and it did, it's bad. So I ended up throwing it away. So I used what I had on hand, and I'm loving it. I love the smell of it. I love the way it feels on my skin.
I know. I have loved using the more natural, like making my own facial soaps, because I have very sensitive skin, and some soaps dry me out, which cause me more breakouts and more problems. And then for a long time, I would never use oil as a moisturizer because I thought, no, I'm going to break out. But I'm 46 now, and I'm starting into menopause, and my skin is changing. So I'm actually having drier skin, and I am starting to use more oils, and I use jojoba and vitamin E oil to make my serum and my moisturizer. And I love how they feel, and they just sink into your skin. They don't cause me any breakout. So that has been wonderful. My skin's never really looked better than it has in the last few months since I started making my own.
Yeah. So what do you use when you're making soap? Do you use like goat?
I use pure Castile soap.
Oh, okay.
And I have unscented, and then I use the oils too. Sometimes I will use lavender Castile soap because I have it on hand, and I do like the smell of the it's Dr. Bronner's. So sometimes I'll use the lavender Castile soap, especially for cleaning, like with baking soda to clean the shower and to clean the sink and things like that. But I use Castile soap a little bit in my facial cleanser with lemon, frankincense, and lavender. And then I will use jojoba oil and distilled water. So I'll even put a little bit of the jojoba oil in with my cleanser. And then I have a jojoba oil blend with lavender, frankincense, and there's Young Living has an oil called Valor, and I love the way that it smells. But I put Valor in my serum moisturizer with jojoba oil only, and I'll put that in a little dropper. And this summer, I made my sister a jojoba oil and lavender. I ground up some bronze eyeshadow that I wasn't using anymore, and I put it in the oil and made her a little bronzer with oil. So there's all kinds. I made us an after sun spray with organic aloe vera and lavender and distilled water. I make my own bed spray, linen spray, not bed spray, but I spray it on the bed with lavender and witch hazel and a little drop of alcohol, because it helps I feel like.
What is it called? Like, what's that word? I can't even think of it.
atomizes.
Yeah.
Atomizes, but also it can kill bacteria that is.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. So just a touch of alcohol. I use a lot of witch hazel, organic witch hazel. So I have a little supply box, and when I'm making things, I just start making things, and they last me, a long time. So, because when you're talking about even a 2-ounce dropper full of oil, that can or a container of oil, that can last you 2 months.
Right.
So I have loved making my own.
Yeah, I love making my own things too, and I like to use different oils, like if I'm feeling tense or if I'm feeling like I'm overwhelmed, just rubbing some on my temples or where I can smell it just really seems to help. The other thing I use a ton of is tea tree oil for like healing properties. Like if I have a cut, I'll use tea tree oil on it. And I like to use my diffuser in the fall. Like you said, candles aren't real. I love candles, but I don't burn them all the time. But I feel like a diffuser I could plug in every day.
Well, I have this one going all the time. And when it goes for about 4 hours, and I will put either the same blend in or a new blend. I'm always trying new things. Right now, I just tried I thought I'm going to put these 3 things together, and it's rosemary, orange, and Idaho blue spruce. And it smells amazing in here. Such a uplifting smell. I don't know. There's just something about diffusing the oils into the air that gives you such a sense of, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm not a woo-woo person. I'm not like, oh, smell this oil and all of your problems will go away. But there is something to be said about having a fresh, clean smell diffusing in the air, especially, when the house is clean and everybody is gathering around and I don't know, there's just something to be said about the fresh smell of oils diffused in the air. It just gives you a sense of coziness and home and comfortability. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Amy. Like especially with fall coming up soon. I mean, it's still, I know by you, it's like me, it's like still like 80, 90 degrees out, but I'm starting to lean into that fall feeling. Like I don't know why I'm always so anxious for the next season, but I am. And I especially like fall. I like that kind of warmish day, but those crisper, cooler nights where, you get your house all cleaned. And to me, it's like the finishing touch on the clean house is to put those pretty smells into the air. And I'm not a huge fan of like evergreen or like those piney kind of scents. I don't really like those. And I'm not even a fan of like a cinnamony smell.
Yeah.
But to me, I can make, and so I was wondering if you have some things that would be more like fallish flavors or some fall.
Do I ever?
Okay,
fall is my favorite. Some people like, oh, I'm ready for summer. I'm never ready for summer. I never want. I would, if it went fall, short winter, fall again, a short spring, fall again, I would be happy. So
I would too, except for my tomatoes. I need my tomatoes to grow. Yes. But other than that,
there's something to be said. I don't know if it's small town America or if it's just, I don't know if every country has this, but in the fall, it's like, for me, some people think spring is a fresh start, but for me, fall is your fresh start. You're starting school. Remember when you're young and you're starting school and you're getting new clothes. And when you have kids, it's like school is starting, and my boys were athletes. So it was football season, and I love, professional football as well. And I love everything about fall is just, to me, it's like a fresh start. I look forward to it all year long. The smells, I'm a very, like I said, a tactile person. I love to feel the cozy sweaters, and that just makes me so happy. Smelling, it reminds me of grandma and grandma's house in the fall, and just the leaves. And so to me, it's my favorite. But yes, so if you want some good smell, if you can make your house smell like a Williams Sonoma or an Anthropologie just with these oils. So clove, nutmeg, cinnamon bark, orange is a great fall smell, even though you aren't thinking about it. But when you add orange to like Idaho blue spruce, which even if I think we think of pine as pine sol, we all remember that pine sol smell. And so for me, the Idaho blue spruce is way different than a pine smell. It's almost like that woodsy, masculine smell. So I add Idaho blue spruce to orange and some rosemary, and it's fantastic. Cedar wood is another great one. So if you want that woodsy, that woodsy smell, you can get it with cedar wood, Idaho blue spruce, and it doesn't smell like pine, but it gives you that woody, earthy smell that I love so much. So those are definitely, and clove, nutmeg, and cinnamon bark, you can make your house smell like you're baking a pie,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I love those for fall. And then at the end of every day, I always end the day diffusing some lavender for Gigi. That's kind of like a signal to Gigi and to myself that like it's time for bed. Mom's I put the lavender spray on the bed, and I start diffusing the lavender, and it's almost like a routine that you get into where it's like a signal, like, oh, it's time to settle down and get ready for bed. So that's another thing that we do. And then so at different times or at different you can do citrus smells if you need to wake up a little bit. And that's what I was going to say. Peppermint. So I know peppermint's kind of very distinct, but the peppermint oil, when I'm trying to lose weight, which I'm getting ready to do a whole new, I have got to lose weight. I have gained so much weight, and I have just not been eating well and for a long time. And so it's just time to get back on track. But for me, I will put some drops of peppermint on my little bracelet that I put oils on with a lava stone. And to smell peppermint, it makes you feel full or satisfied. So I don't even eat as much whenever I have peppermint going. You can also use it on your temples and on your neck for a headache and things like that. So peppermint's something I always have. Lavender is something I always have. And then I do love all of the fall, clove and nutmeg and cinnamon bark. And then the woodsy ones like cedar wood and Idaho blue spruce. Those are my favorites.
Yeah, I know I'm an oddball with not liking those like pumpkin spice and all those kind of things that most people love this time of year. I don't know why. The fact that I love fall so much and I don't really like those smells, but I'm able to create my own sense of fall with, like you said, maybe more of the woodsy things.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy having my house smell like, I don't know if it's even, it's clean, it's relaxing. It's
fresh.
It's fresh. Yeah.
And feel like it's a chemical, like it's not jarring. Like sometimes I have burned candles and it's just like, whoa, that is kind of overwhelming. It's not an overwhelming smell. It's actually something that gives you a sense of that coziness. Like, I don't know. It's very hard to describe.
And it does have a little bit of a calming effect too. I totally believe in that. So, can we expect to see some of these recipes on Amy Sadler Designs blog?
Yes. Everything I've talked about today and everything, especially like, the serums and the blends are definitely going to be something that I'm going to start in a new weekly series on the blog. So And then I'll also have printables soon for people to download and print out these recipes as well. So working on that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that because I love following a little recipe. I don't really have any of my own. I just kind of make things up. But once you do some printables with the recipes, I think it'll be great to print them out, put them on the back, inside my cabinet where I keep all my oils so I can quickly throw something together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for you about that. I think that it's going to be a series that people are going to really enjoy.
I hope so. I think so.
Yeah. And your cleaning products too. I think that's a big deal for people. I think more and more people are trying to get away from harsh chemicals, and we know that our environment just doesn't need.
Well, I mean, when I started going into menopause, and researching and then seeing the effects that some of those harsh cleaning chemicals and scents, the scents that waft out into your home, they can affect your hormones as well and cause problems. So that's when I really got much more serious about it, was when I realized that my hormones weren't quite right and that I needed to do something, that I do have control over some things, and I can definitely control the toxic chemicals that I'm using in the house and
right. And I feel like even if people aren't ready to give everything up all at once, even if you start one at a time, because we have well water, I still have a thing about my toilets, and I use chemicals on my toilets, but it's the only place that I do anymore. But it didn't start out where I just threw everything away and I was done with it. I just did one step at a time. And now I'm pretty much using simple things that we all have in our pantries, rubbing alcohol, water, vinegar. I use baking soda for tons of things. I use, I
buy baking soda in bulk.
So do I. Because I use it on my laundry for stain removal. I use hydrogen peroxide. I use baking soda. I use borax. I don't use all these other things. And I'm saving a ton of money by not buying all this stuff that's got all this junk in it that
when my youngest son was younger, he had terrible allergies. So I stopped using a lot of cleaning chemicals back then, but I still have candles, and I still used certain things, but I tried really hard to make sure that we weren't doing we just don't realize the effect that some of those chemicals can have on us long term as well. So
right, for sure.
One for me that's really hard to give up. I will say my favorite dish detergent that I feel like is, have you ever seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding and they use Windex for everything? Well, I feel like Dawn dish soap is my Windex. So that's the one thing for me that has been probably the hardest to give up, because
I probably won't give it up either, because I actually use Dawn to be proactive in my gardens against pests.
Yes.
Which Dawn, if you have to use anything, Dawn is cleaner than people think, because they wash animals with it when they have oils and stuff on their bodies. Yeah, Dawn would be another one that I would say that I haven't.
And you're dealing with grease and grime, and I painted kitchens forever. And I would always tell my clients, don't spray any kind of thing on your cabinets that are freshly painted with clear coat. Just use warm water and Dawn dish soap. That's all I would, that's all you really need. It'll get the grease and the grime. You don't have to ruin my beautiful finish with spraying harsh chemicals on it. But Dawn dish soap, I feel like is going to be the last thing to go, and I'm really going to have to work up to it.
Yeah. I don't know that that'll ever go in my house. Little dirty little secret. I actually fill up my Mrs. Meyer's soap with the container with my Dawn.
That's funny.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. So I'm really excited to see this out on your blog. And because we do check in with each other on Mondays, I will be following up to make sure you do this, not only for you, but for me too, because I really want to get some of your recipes. And you were talking earlier about how you feel like fall is a new beginning and the start of things. I couldn't agree with you more. I feel like it's time to get back to school. And even though I don't have kids anymore, it's still, I have that sense that, the school supplies are out in the stores.
Yes.
It's like a new school year. If you're a teacher, it's a new school year for you. I worked for Scholastic for so many years that it was the beginning of our new year was September. And I start in my life, I get my house organized in September. I do it twice a year. I do it spring and I do it fall. Yeah. And it's because of that, it's a new beginning. And when I'm organizing, there's nothing that keeps me more motivated than my diffuser going, because I can't wait till it's all cleaned up, organized, wiped down, and then my diffuser has even more meaning for me at the end of it.
Yeah.
So as we wrap this up, I'm going to ask you a few questions. I hope I didn't ask them the last time. I think I switched them up. The first one I want to ask you is, if you could travel anywhere and cost wasn't a factor, where would you go and why?
I love to travel. I love to travel to far off places, but my son lives in England. He's in the Air Force and he's stationed there with his wife. And I would definitely take Gigi and Sean and go and spend a month in England, in the UK, and travel Europe with my son and his wife if that was the case, definitely. However, if money wasn't an issue and I could travel, I would probably homeschool Gigi, and we would every other month go to a different country and spend time and do all kinds of things, because I love to travel. I love other cultures and learning about other cultures and their histories, and it's one of my passions in life. So,
I love traveling in my mind. I'm not a good traveler. Like, I want to go to London and England so badly because of the history and because of the cottages and the gardens and just everything that you read about. And I want to go to France and I want to go to the flea markets, but I don't want to fly there. I don't want to deal with.
If I had money, I would buy a home in Europe, and I would live there part of the time and live here part of the time. I would also buy a home up north in like Montana, Wyoming area, and live in the mountains, maybe Utah.
I knew there was a reason why I liked you so much. That's exactly what I would do too. I would have
3 homes. I would go in between, and that would be like the ultimate for me.
Yeah. And I don't even know, I could give up this home. My husband, not so much, but I could give up this home.
Yeah. I couldn't give up this place where I grew up.
Because your family
is here. And I would definitely want this to be home base, but I would love to have homes in other places as well. So.
And then I also want to ask you, what is your favorite color and what does that color say about you? I think I know what it is, but I
think everybody who's ever met me knows that my favorite color is green. And what it says about me is I am definitely loyal, because that's been my favorite color I don't ever remember it not being my favorite color. There's just something about the color green and all of its shades that I love. But I think because of my long held history with green that I'm loyal.
Yeah. I thought maybe there was green meant loyal, but you're just saying that.
No, I'm just saying because I have loved it for so long and but I am very, I don't change my mind very much. So I've loved Karen Carpenter since I was a kid. She's my favorite singer. I love the same movie, Count of Monte Cristo. Since the day I saw it, it's been my favorite. The color green. My favorite oil paintings in my house are my favorites. Like, yeah. I don't know what that says about me, but
I guess then I'm loyal too, but mine is blue. I've had blue in one form or another in my homes since I started having my own homes.
Yeah.
To this day, it's my favorite color too. So anyhow, I am going to share with everybody in the show notes all the different ways that you can get in touch with Amy, where you can find her on social media. I'll have a link to her blog. I'm going to have her give me some of the things she talked about today, some of the oils, and I'll leave those in the show notes too. She's definitely somebody that you want to follow, and because oils are not the only thing she does. She's a girl of lots of talents, I would say. And you also,
go ahead.
I was going to say, you might want to put a little plug in for your magazine. Aren't you an ambassador for a magazine?
I'm a curator for the Turquoise Iris Journal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I write that's a quarterly magazine, and it's digital or paper form. So you can get it in the mail or you can just have it digitally, but it's a beautiful magazine for artists and creatives. So yes, that's a wonderful resource for inspiration. I love being a part of the Turquoise Iris Journal. And I was going to say, I'm definitely like, oils are just part of what I do. Mainly what I do is painting, paint finishes, and home decor DIYs, dupes and things, high-end dupes and things like that. So that's the main focus of the blog. And then some how to get a cozy home, how to feel good at home and not break the bank. So that's what I like to do on the blog.
Right.
Definitely I'll get you guys all some wonderful recipes for oils and how to use them in your home. So, and then there'll be a weekly series. And if you get on my email list, you'll get them just directly to your email every week.
Yeah, right into your inbox. Well, thank you so much, Amy, for chatting with me today. As always, it's a pleasure. And I want to thank all my listeners for joining us, and I will see you next week.
Thank you, Lynn.
You're very welcome, Amy. Bye-bye.
Bye.